Welcome to another episode of Axe Pro Tips with Agent Zero. Our friends at Raptors Uprising and Axe the team together to help bring a video series analyzing the Raptors Uprising and the NBA 2K League, talking to analysts, players, and getting a better understanding of everything as a whole. This is a pretty exciting week because after two brutal overtime losses, the Raptors 0-3, they're going up against one of the best teams in the league in 76ers Gaming. They managed to come away with not only a W, but doing it in emphatic fashion. The first ranked team versus the 17th ranked team, and they proved to everybody that they can ball with the best. Of course, the Raptors Uprising talked big time about changes they were going to be making to both the lineups and the archetypes to help adjust and understand the meta of the NBA 2K League. A big reason for the team's win last week was because 4 of the 5 players put up double-digit points, 18 coming from Trey, who gave us our Axe golden moment of the game.
The opening quarter, Nutini, we got to think about pulling the trigger there, turns it over. We could have a double-digit lead for the Raptors here. Josh, Detoxi's other corner, Trey!
So let's bring in Trey, sharpshooter for the Raptors Uprising, and Shane, who's the general manager. Guys, welcome. So Trey, you had a big game, 18 points up against 76ers Gaming. How does it feel to have a big game like that, knowing that they beat you in the tip-off tournament, getting some revenge?
It feels good. I mean, we prepped all week for them. We going into the game, we executed our game plan, so it feels good to beat them.
Trey, talk to me about being a sharpshooter in the NBA 2K League. Week 1, we saw people adjusting, trying to find their jump shots. We were seeing a lot of breaks. So now we're seeing more shots being made. Some sharpshooters are beginning to make a name for themselves. Where do you stand?
Well, first off, I started playing small forward, and I transitioned to the shooting guard, and I felt like I'm up there like with the top shooting guards in the league. As you can see, like the last 2 or 3 games I didn't play as a pure sharp, I didn't perform very well, so I like to transition to the pure sharp.
Okay. So Shane, we noticed 1 through 5, Ogie was sent to the studio to help analyze and coach the team. Talk to me a little bit about why he was sent out and what he helped accomplish.
Yeah, so Ogie's a guy who I've been working with since I first got the job with the Raptors. He's in Ottawa, so he's a short drive away, but one of the local guys here that was playing at a top Pro-Am level, so I knew I wanted to meet him. I knew he was a prospect to potentially get into the league. And the more I got to know Ogie, the more I came to respect his level of IQ when it comes to 2K and honestly just basketball in general. He's a really good basketball player, you know, off the sticks as well. For us, he's been an invaluable resource. We lean on him every week to help us run our film session, to help us figure out how we're going to run our lineup. He's teaching me a lot about the meta of the game and what goes into choosing the right archetypes and putting certain players in certain positions in order to counter what our opponents are doing. And what we came to realize is that his level of insight on a moment-by-moment basis throughout a game was an invaluable resource that we weren't taking full advantage of by not having him in New York. So, we went through the process internally to make sure that we could make that happen. And last week was the first opportunity we had to actually get him into the studio where he could work with the guys, during the timeouts on the headset, helping to figure out what's going right, what's going wrong, and make sure that we're adapting properly.
So Shane, you've had experience in traditional esports throughout your years. Talk to me about the difference between that and the NBA 2K League, maybe what crosses over, what you've learned, and what you're bringing to the Raptors Uprising.
It's interesting, when I first started considering applying for the job with the Raptors, I wanted to look into the game more and get a better understanding for it, right? How much depth does it have? And what I found right away is that you have, very clear distinction between the most skilled players in the world and, even the top players, but, who are just below that sort of tier 1 threshold. And that to me is indication of a really strong esport. We're still seeing in the league that the guys who came in as sort of the number 1, number 2 overall draft picks at the point guard position are able to carry games and carry their team. And that to me indicates that the skill ceiling is very high. Beyond that, I find that 2K plays a lot like any hero-based esport. 2K League's very interesting. You've got 5 archetypes across 5 positions, 25 different builds that you could put on the floor in any given game, and it creates almost an infinite number of possibilities. What we're doing is learning about our guys, where our strengths and weaknesses are, and also learning about the league itself. We're observing what our opponents are doing, we're seeing what's working and what isn't working, and we're making sure that we're adapting on a week-to-week basis. The great thing is we've had all 6 of our guys get a significant amount of game time. We're seeing a shocking number of 6th round picks actually play in the league, considering I think most people came into it wondering what that dynamic was going to be like, and it's proven proven to be, for us, a really invaluable resource. And the other aspect of that is we have really versatile guys. Most of our guys are able to play multiple positions. You heard Trey mention that he started off at the 3, and now he's pretty much committed to being our shooting guard. But in general, we've seen that all of our guys are able to contribute, whether it's our 3 big men sort of shifting up roles, or Trey, Josh, and Kenny, who've all moved around as well in the backcourt.
Well, congratulations on your first win, a pretty big win against 76ers Gaming, who are one of the top teams in the league right now. A double header going in next week against both the Knicks Gaming and the Blazers 5. Good luck to you guys both. Hope you guys prepared. The Raptors Uprising have shown their willingness to make changes and adjust to the NBA 2K League meta. We've seen Yusuf Scarbs now not in the lineup for 2 weeks, so they're mixing and matching, trying to see what works for which opponent and when it makes sense to make certain moves. There we have it, folks. Good luck to the Raptors Uprising, their second doubleheader of the NBA 2K League season. They got some tough competition ahead of them. Wishing you guys luck. Peace.